Welcome back, guys, to another episode here on low-boyz. And what we're going to do, as you can tell down in the description, is we are going to pull the front fenders, the headlights out, and this back placing back here by the windshield wipers because we have to remove this to get the fenders off. There is a couple bolts I already do have off. Some has broken because I have had these off before. I've actually replaced this fender over here. So I'm going to show you where all the bolts are, everything that you need to do, even the ones that are broken and are missing on the truck. And to get the fenders off, you do not have to remove the front bumper like I did in the previous episode. The only reason why I did that is because of all body work we have to do up front, and might as well, since I'm going to have the entire engine bay to work with, since probably next episode we're going to pull the engine out of this. I already got the board up, I got the chain up, ready for the hoist. I'm just going to do that on camera so you guys can come along with me. But enough chatter, let's go ahead and get into work. So I'm going to grab our 10mm that we're going to need. And there's two 10mm bolts that will be right behind the blinker casing over on both the driver and passenger side. So let's go ahead and pull those ones off. These ones will usually be color coded to whatever body color your truck is. So you can just go ahead and throw these ones in the bucket if you want to. And yeah, you should be able to find them without even an issue. Or you can put them in a baggie or something and mark them all together. But I'm just going to go ahead and throw them into a bucket because I know where to go, because I've stripped this truck apart so many times. And some of these bolts are so loose that you can do with your finger after you break them up a little bit. They're not really that stiff. Some of them may be on mine. Some of them are just because some of the body work that needs to be done. It was never in an accident, but you could tell that they probably pushed something with it or something like that. And then there will be one 12mm down here on this side, or a 12. I can't remember which one is broken off on both sides of my fenders. And there are two tangs down here on the bottom right in front of the door, but in the wheel well. Those are broken off as well. I have to drill those out, and I'm going to put a bolt and nut on to hold those down so they don't flop around. And then you'll have two in the door. You'll have a bolt down here and a nut that you can just loosen up here. I just have that loosened because I pulled these off so much, but I'll still show you where those are. But we're going to go ahead and get the ones up top, and then I'll bring you on a walk around and try to station you better so we can kind of see all this. So you have four on each side right here, and then I believe there's only one back here, possibly two. I can't fully remember, but you guys will come along with me and find out. And the best part about this is you don't need very many tools, so you don't have to spend a whole fortune on the tools just to be able to fix your rig. You don't need two different ratchets. I just have multiple different sockets for both a 1/4" drive and a 3/8 drive ratchet. I do have some for a half, and I have a breaker bar for a half. My ratchet ended up getting stolen. I don't know what happened to it, but I no longer have it. Most of my sockets, all of my ratchets, and most of my screwdrivers and stuff like that are Husky and Pittsburgh. I have a couple of Craftsman, I have a couple of Snap-ons, but a good chunk of it is mainly Pittsburgh. They're very cheap and a very reliable tool. They have a lifetime warranty, which I love. And you can pick them up usually from Harbor Freight. Some places may not have that. I'm sure you could probably find their website online. But yeah, they're the main tools I do recommend. They can hold a lot of abuse, especially for this 3/8 drive. And they'll, as soon as you bring it in, you can replace it right then and there, which is the best part. So now we're going to move this side and get these 6 bolts up here that we did on the other side. Okay, so I went ahead and moved forward off camera, and I got those 6 bolts out. I got most of them down. You just need a flathead, just be able to pop the little pop rivets up. And then this says you need a Phillips, but I found a flathead, just prying it up, prying out, it removes it just fine, as you can tell. So that's out. We're just gonna set this over here by our little handy dandy camera station, if that's what you want to call it. And then these windshield wiper bolts, if I believe right, are 17 millimeter. Nope, 14 millimeter. So they are 14 millimeter nuts. Let's see if the camera will pick it up. Probably not, but it's a 14 millimeter for the windshield wipers. You just pop those off, and then I just like to keep the nuts with it. And then this plate, you just lift up, slide out, and it comes right out. We'll set this over here with our ridiculous parts pile. I'll clean this all up off camera. And then now, as you can tell, I was right, there's only 1 bolt left up here. It's 10 millimeter. And then you want to go in the cab. That's all my sister's stuff I gotta take back to her, but I needed my shop back. Okay, so there's the 14 millimeter bolt or nut that you need to just leave loosen. And then right here, you can't really see it that well on camera, there's a little plate, there's a nut right behind that. Most of the time you have to pull the door off to get to this nut. I know it sounds painful, the doors are not that heavy. I already had that loosened up. Like I said, I've had this off multiple times, so we don't have to go through that pain of taking the door off. But I will have an episode showing how to remove the door. But if you're doing this along with me, I'm going to show you what you need to do, basically, but I'm not going to remove it. So you need to remove this pin right here. It's very easy. You can either push it up with your finger, just barely tap it with some pliers or some rubber mallet. You don't want to really mess it up down here. It's going to be really hard to get that rivet back in here. And then right on the inside, there is a 12 millimeter bolt. There's 2 of them down here, and I believe 2 of them up top also. Yes, there is 4 12s total, 2 on the top hinge and 2 on the bottom hinge. And you want to pull this off before you start loosening that up, or you're really going to bend that and really mess up your door. And then it just comes right off. Okay, so now since we have that done, we're going to remove these bolts, and I will bring you guys along with me just because I know you guys like to do that. If you guys want me to do anything different, please just let me know. I am gladly to change. Trying to figure out what you, my viewers, want to see. And I do read my comments, so don't hesitate to leave something down in the comments. And I love to hear what you guys have to say. Like I said, we got this 112 up here. If you loosen the 2 over here, like I told you about, the 2 10s on the bottom, and I believe the 10 or 12 that's over here right next to the edge of the bumper on the fender, and these 6, the fender will come right off. And as you can tell here, we won't even have to open the door. unless those aren't loosened, then that one that you'll have to remove the door like I explained. But in my case, like I explained, it's already loosened because I've had these off multiple times. It will just come right off. Now you just grab it and it pops right off. It's not hard, it's very easy, very simple. And then just set it down somewhere that you don't want it to get messed up, in the back of the truck, wherever you want. Now I'm going to go ahead off camera, get that fender off, and then we'll move along to get it. Okay, now for the headlights, I'm just going to remove the main bulb. The casings I'm going to leave in because I finally had those kind of where I wanted them. There's 2 Phillip head screws on the top of the casing and 2 on the bottom of the casing. And then after that, all you need to do is come inside and pull off the plug-in off the back without breaking it. Of course, on camera it's always pain. But I'm going to put you back up on the stand so you guys come along with me and we'll do this together. Alright, got you up on the stand. Go ahead and start loosening these. They'll probably be a little stiff, most likely, because they'll probably be the stock screws. So it may be a pain to get them off. So just keep that in mind while you're doing it. This is not acting. This is, you guys are watching me do this. Sorry for my big head in the way. You need to get enough pressure on them so you don't end up stripping the screw out, or this becomes a whole lot harder of a job. Alright, so we got all 4 of them loose. Now we'll just take out the bottom ones. And then also don't forget, we still have that plug that we still need to remove also. So keep that in mind. This whole chrome plating is going to come off. Try to keep the screws together so I can put them all back in the casing when I'm done. Oh, we'll just set that one down. Okay, so we got all 4 screws up, and we got the chrome wraparound out. Now, all we need to do, set our screwdriver down, get this plug off that we're fighting with a second ago. It's still on there, but I know it comes off because there's little clips on the side. I'm trying to bring you guys in so you can see that real quick. Inside the plug, there's these little clamps that you push in. I didn't notice that earlier, so let me go ahead and set you guys back up on the stand real quick. Okay, so now the headlight will just pull right out. So I'm going to keep the chrome with it, but we'll put the screws back in here in a minute. Set this over with the other headlight we have over here on one of the parts tables. We grab our screwdriver again, head over to this side, and we'll get these 4 off. This is the one apparently I changed, so this one's not as difficult to get off. Because in the process of this, I ended up breaking one of the posts on one of the headlights when I installed the headlights back into the truck. In the initial rebuild that was on the old channel that the videos got deleted on, which I am really upset about, and I don't know why it happened. But we're going to pinch it again and pull it right off. And there's our headlights. So it was a pretty quick episode today. Just setting the headlight back over here. But as you can tell, we got the fenders off, we got the back plating back here off, we got the headlights removed so we don't end up breaking any of our headlights in the initial fixing this. we could probably go ahead and remove the coil really quick in the process of wrapping up our video. So let's go ahead and do that really quick. So there's two 12mm nuts. I already have everything unplugged for it. You can tell the whole wiring harness is all unplugged for the radiator and everything. There is, oh, I think these are 10mm. I stand corrected. I apologize. So there's two 10s. You just take them off. They're pretty loose on my truck because I've had to replace this coil. Probably gonna end up buying a new one and the initial rebuild. And this bracket over here, once you loosen it up for the air cleaner, will just come right off. I just tell it was already loosened. So we'll throw that on the parts table, and we'll go ahead and remove this other 10. And since these are just 10s, we're gonna go ahead and just throw these into our bucket also. And there's our coil, ladies and gentlemen. So I hope you guys did enjoy this video. Got as much tore down as we can. We probably could do more, but I'm going to go ahead and wrap this video up. It's getting pretty hot out right now. And plus, this is my second video of the day. I'm probably going to end up making another one and bring you guys along. And that's going to be removing our engine. I already told you guys there's a couple things that's already done. The whole harness and everything is basically removed except for that one bolt. So it's basically the two engine mounts, that one wiring harness bolt, and then the whole engine's going to come right out of the truck. So you guys are going to see what you need to do without a come-along, or not a come-along, a cherry picker or anything like that to have to remove an engine. It's not as easy as people think it is. It's easy getting it tore down to be able to get it out. But getting it out, unless you have a couple of strong buddies or a cherry picker or something, is not so fun to get out by yourself. So that's it for this episode. Thank you guys for watching. Don't forget to leave a like and let me know what you guys want to be able to see in our mini truck, what you guys want to be able to see me do, how much work and stuff like that. I would love to hear it. And don't forget to subscribe so you guys can stay tuned with some of our newest vlogs. Thank you for watching, and I'll catch you on the next one.